very fun, was it? Just fancy doing one of these today. Why not? I it's been commented on that I only turn up and do these when we win 4-0 or something. So maybe I'll do one while it's not as fun, shall I? I'm just gonna get this shared to Twitter. Let's have a look. There's always that, isn't there? There's always that song. What is it? Munich by the Editors. People are fragile things you should know by now. Be careful what you put them through. People are fragile things you should know by now. You'll speak when you're spoken to. It's just the going like in the David Brent. Go get the crap result. Go get the crap result playlist. Go get the crap. Stick on the Editors. Drown out the booing. Drown out the Levy stuff. Let's get this tune from 2003. Let's get this tune for 2003 to get the stands popping for the kids. Let's do that, shall we? Let's get out some early 2000s misery indie to see the fans out the stadium, to get them out as quickly as we can. Slap on the Editors. People are fragile. We are fragile things. Buy us some players. There we go. Right? Careful what you put us through. Careful what you put Tottenham fans through. Buy some players, Daniel Levy. Don't put editors on at the end of a bad result, right? I don't want to hear it. The faux sort of Morrissey-esque tones of the Editors. You'll speak when you're spoken to. You know, we don't need that, right? What we need is big money spent on big players. Let's have some of that. Look, no, I don't know. It's a not particularly fun one, that was it? I mean, I was sort of, well, obviously, I was hoping that was going to be one of those games that I've been calling for the past few weeks, where we managed to just grind out an ugly win. You know, do you know what I mean? Towards the end there, it was looking like 2-1. It's not been the prettiest game, but Wolves are in good form. We've managed to grind it out. We've gotten it over the line. We finally won a game. We've won a game just 2-1. We don't need to win every single game 4 or 5-0. We've won a game 2-1, and that's quite good. And we've got 3 points. We've stopped the rot a bit. And, you know, I thought it was going to be a draw before the game. But it's the manner of it, again, is just kind of annoying. I'm doing this as a YouTube stream again. I haven't done one for ages. And this is for anyone listening. And I've done a nice clickbaity title of, is Ange going to get sacked in the morning? And I don't think he will he? I think he's gonna at least get the kind of the League Cup games and everything like that. And I think the thing is, it could be looking hairy after Newcastle and Arsenal, to be fair, in terms of our league position and everything. But I'm not quite. I think it's a bit too dramatic to start talking about relegation and Tottenham Hotspur in the same breath, other than to say we have sort of relegation form across the whole year of 2024. Our form's not been very good. And I think, like, when we're talking about kind of like relegation form, it's more just to illustrate the point that Spurs are not doing anywhere close to as good as we would hope that they would be. I don't think Spurs will get relegated. I mean, I touch wood. Let's hope they don't. I don't think Spurs will get relegated. I think as much as I'm kind of annoyed the past few weeks and everything, I think we should end the season all right, and we'll finish probably in the top 10 at least, maybe the top 8, pushing for top 6. That's what I'd hope for. And I think that's what we will get to. But still, I think our league position could be looking quite hairy after Arsenal and Newcastle. And you know what? These things, you can get caught into negative spirals and all this type of thing. And I'm purely, I'm interested how long Postecoglou actually gets. Do you know what I mean? If results keep going this kind of way, the manner of results, the manner of like games, the way in which they play out keeps going in this way. I'm interested to see how much longer he has. How much longer Daniel Levy holds his nerve for, and keeps him in charge of the club. The comparison that's often made is obviously Arteta at Arsenal, the sort of stinking form they were in. I think most people expected Arteta to get sacked. Similar sort of time in his tenure to where Ange is at now, and obviously they stuck with him and they've kicked on from there and done all right. So, you know, I think most people, I've made my thoughts pretty clear on Ange Postecoglou. The past few pods and everything like that. I've let it be known. I kind of feel like things have hit a bit of a natural conclusion, if you like. Not a natural conclusion. I mean, I don't even know. I just feel like it's a bit done. I'm not going to like overly analyze this. I kind of feel like it's a bit done, but at the same time, there's still enough of me that would probably be quite disappointed if we actually got rid of him. I don't know. I'm confused on the matter. You know, I do find it confusing, and I wouldn't actively want him to go, but I don't feel like there's an awful lot of life left in this. I don't feel like I don't know. I really don't know. Look, we've had injuries. I think everyone has injuries. Our players are tired. They're playing a lot of games. Everybody's players are quite tired. You know, I don't know how we reconcile all this type of thing, and how much of this is Ange Postecoglou, how much of this is just a natural. It's just something that naturally occurs, right? As a result of where we're at in the season and the amount of games we have to play and the size of the squad and the squad planning and all that type of thing, right? What I do know is that today wasn't particularly great. I think what I found quite disappointing, and I have been finding quite disappointing. I found it quite disappointing against Nottingham Forest because a lot of people were being like, well, we didn't actually play badly against Forest. It's so annoying that we lost because we didn't actually play badly. I don't think we played that well though either. I don't actually think we played that well at all against Forest. I don't think we really created that many opportunities, that many quality opportunities. And we probably didn't again today. Sonny looks absolutely knackered. I'm not going to be in this camp of people saying that Son's done. I don't think he's done. I think maybe we need to. He's getting older. We need to manage his minutes and all that type of thing. But I don't think he's done by any stretch of the imagination. But I did a I did a hit class at the gym this morning, right? And I get it. Like I know to look at me, I'm not like at the peak of human physical fitness, right? But I try and keep myself fit, and I'm not a stranger. I'm not a stranger to doing like a little, hit class or something on an app on my phone, or just going to the gym in general, going for a run or something like that, right? Lo and behold, I do actually do some of that. But I thought I'm gonna do like a class at the gym because Christmas it's mostly drinking. Do you know what I mean? The thing is now it's mostly the drinking as you get older. and I can feel it. I'm like, I can see it in my face. I'm like more bloated than usual and everything. When you've been knocking them back over Christmas, and I thought if I do a class, it's kind of like that shame. Like I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be looking around me, and it just kind of it inspires you to sort of try that extra little bit because everyone else around you is thinking, look at that fat bastard on on station 4. When you do a hit class and you do it's like a circuits class. So like the instructor's got all these different little do kettlebell swings here and do burpees on that bit and on this bit. You're going to do like steps up and down onto a plyo box and jumps up and down. Do you know what I mean? This one you're going to be doing weighted squats. Do you know what I mean? It's all that, and you do like 40 seconds on each, 20 seconds rest in between, and you keep going around in this thing for about 45 minutes. And the thing is, it keeps you going in that is like it's shame. It's public shame, isn't it? It's everyone else looking at you thinking like, you fat bastard. And like I did this because I haven't done like a class at it's sort of a fairly new gym and everything that I'm at, and I'm I'm about halfway through this thing, and I can tell. First of all, when I first rocked up to the class, the instructor's like, "Hi, yeah, nice, welcome. I've never seen you on these before. Well done, first of all." And I'm thinking patronising. All right, fair enough, but at least he's been encouraging. Fine. No, hey, well done, first of all. And just want to ask, do you have any health concerns? High blood pressure or, bad knees, bad joints, anything like that? No, I don't. No, I don't actually, mate. Thank you. But he was like, okay, well, just go at your own pace today. All right. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I get it, mate. All right. You've seen me and thought, all right, fatso. Nice one. Well, at least well done for coming down to the gym. Bit of a shame you got yourself into that state in the first place, but at least you're here. And what I'm going to do is take you under my and like every time I'm going through each step of each different little like thing, I'm tired, but like everyone is, right? You're doing these things, and you're like, I'm sweating and I'm out of breath, right? And I'm red faced. But I look around, everyone else is. It's a high intensity interval training class, and between each thing, he keeps coming over to me, being like, "Are you okay? Just want to check you okay." Yeah, I'm fine. Just knackered. All right, leave me alone. But that long-winded thing, I mean, is to give you some like relief, obviously, to laugh at my expense, but also it's just to kind of, I sort of I sit there and go, "Son's knackered. Sonny's knackered. He is, and he's getting old and all this." And he's probably thinking, "Who are you? I'm fine." Like, it's just, do you know what I mean? Everyone's a bit tired. Why does everyone keep talking about me? I'm only 32 or whatever. Why does everyone keep going on about how old I am and how unfit I am and how my legs have gone and all this? Everyone's just a bit tired. So maybe it's that with Sonny. Maybe it's just because we're just so used to seeing Sonny at the very like peak of his powers, but we rely on him so much more now. Maybe that's what it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe his legs are going. I don't know. Um, and it's funny, isn't it? It's funny in 2024 to see Sergio Reguilon and Timo Werner on the left-hand side for Tottenham. I mean, Timo Werner less so, but Sergio Reguilon. I mean, we looked. Phil said to me on WhatsApp, he looks like like a ghost from the Spanish Civil Wars just rocked up. Do you know what I mean? On the halfway line when he's coming up to come onto the pitch. It's very strange. I sort of like when he was what was it, one of the European games or something like that. He came onto the pitch, and I was just thinking like I'd actually forgotten he existed. I actually forgotten that he still play for Tottenham, and now obviously he's much more in the conversation now because we've had yet another injury. Your doggy looked, I mean, it looked bad, didn't it? So we'll probably be seeing more of Sergio Reguilon. And as much as I sort of I've obviously moaned about him in the past. I mean, look, your friendly neighborhood reactive Spurs podcaster. I've obviously moaned about him in the past and everything like that, but I do look at him, and I'm pretty sure I've always sort of said, feels like he's a player that can at least do a job for Spurs in this system. Like it feels weird. I mean, maybe there's more to it with him. The fact he's been so jettisoned from the team by a succession of managers now, right? Like several managers have not wanted him anywhere near the side. So there may well be more to this than we know. But the fact he's been nowhere near the team is kind of odd. And like what what he did do today a couple of times that reminded me of why he irritates me so much is he's quite good in the build up. But then he does that thing where he always hits his cross into the box, or what should be a cross into the box, behind all the players who are making a run into the box. I think I spotted him do it twice. Definitely once at the very end of the game with Maddison. He'd made this run. He'd had a nice little like interchange with Werner, and he's belting it down the pitch. And I thought, go on, lad. Go on, Sergio. Go on, lad. And then he just knocks it behind everybody. And I just thought, "Bleh." That's what I remember Reguilon doing constantly. But still, I've descended into like digging Reguilon out when at first I was trying to make the case for Reguilon to play more. But it's mad to see that he's been nowhere near the team. It's mad that Jed Spence has been nowhere near the team. That that Ange really has run a doggy and Porro into the ground in the way that he has, and he has done. He has done. That's. I'll criticize Ange for that, because we can talk about the squad, we can talk about the lack of options that have been given to him. However, I do think we can. I'll happily say he probably could have managed the players that he's had at his disposal a bit better. And I think Reguilon and Spence especially. Spence, I'm not going to keep talking about Reguilon. It's an example and whatever. But Spence especially, it's he should be getting more minutes. I'm sorry, Spence should have had more time on the pitch by now. He's looked brilliant every time he's played for Spurs. And I know he got a red card the other day, and maybe, I've seen some people say, for all those saying, why isn't Spence getting more time on the pitch? We've heard about his attitude, blah, 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 and him getting a red card in a game like that probably exemplifies one of the reasons why he's not getting. Shut up. I don't care, man. He's been brilliant. Physically, he looks great. Technically, he looks great. He's tenacious. He's strong. He's quick. He's a good passer. He's good at identifying space. He takes players on. Like, Jed Spence should have had more time within this system. It shouldn't have been a case that we're actually just resorting to using Jed Spence because there's no other viable alternatives. Jed Spence should have had more time thus far. But that's a mini rant that's just kind of coming out the back of me thinking about Son and players' minutes getting managed and all that type of thing. Look, I mean, today is just... Look, we've not lost. And yes, we are here. Yes, we've arrived at the point when I'm saying at least we didn't lose at home to Wolves. I get that. I get that that's kind of stark in itself. It's a damning sort of praise, isn't it? Really. But at the same time, right now, Wolves are in good form, really good form. I know previous games don't factor into this game, but at the same time, we were actually in a weird run of form with Wolves where the past 3 times we played them, either in the Premier League or all competitions, I can't remember. But basically, our past 3 games against Wolves, we've lost all of them. So we've kind of stopped the rot in that. We've stopped the rot in terms of our league form to a degree. We've turned we've gone behind. We've turned it around. And unfortunately, we've conceded. I mean, their equaliser, I've got to say, their equaliser was sensational. That the finish from that lad, I can't remember who it was that scored it, but it was a hell of a finish. The angle that he finished that from was unbelievable. I mean, I'm not just saying they've only managed to score a freak goal, and if I'm being brutally honest, they were good value for a draw. 2-2 they were good value for it. And it's just how I feel about that one. So look, we've gotten a draw, and that's fine. Hopefully, we can kind of build a bit of momentum out the back of this for Newcastle and Arsenal, and obviously Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. I mean, that's Liverpool, isn't it? And we'll see. As long as we don't get totally embarrassed in that again, then that's kind of maybe the solace we'll have to draw from that. We've gotten to a semi-final of a cup, nice one. Bit more big game experience for some of these younger players in the team. Blah blah blah. I think those are going to be the takeaways from the Liverpool game. And I know as much as and I've said it myself, as much as we're all kind of, not all of us, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I know from listening to different podcasts, from seeing different conversations, from hearing different conversations, a lot of Spurs fans at least are in this place where we've sort of mentally written off the Premier League. And I get that, but equally, we've probably, well, we've definitely got to win some. There needs to be some focus on the Premier League. We can't just we can't take for granted the fact that we're above getting relegated or finishing very close to the relegation zone. Like we're not above that. No team is above that. We shouldn't, and I don't think we will. But what I'm saying is we can't just take it as a given. And equally, we can't just take it as a given that Kulusevski, that Romero, that Van der Ven, anyone else in the team will want to stay at a team that's finished 14th, 15th in the Premier League. We can't just say, oh, we're writing the league off and that's fine. Like, a lot of these lads might be like telling their agents, get me a move. I don't want to stay here. This is useless. Like, we've got to kind of try and, I mean, it doesn't matter. What does it matter, really? What does it matter what the fans, what people on podcasts say if they say, oh, I've written the league off? Doesn't matter. All that matters is if the people wearing the shirt who are on the pitch, that is, on a match day, haven't written it off. And I don't think they will, because I don't think for the most part, professional athletes are wired that way. Well, I don't really care about actually contesting in the Premier League anymore, unless they want to get rid of the manager. And I don't feel like we're at that place. And I think that might be, to the question at the top, to the question in the clickbaity thumbnail. Beg your pardon. Question at the top: how much longer does Ange have? I think he's probably got to stay until more players aren't on his side anymore. And I kind of feel like they really like him. Beg your pardon. I mean, Romero's spoken about how much he likes him, doesn't he? And how he'll leave the club if they sack him. Kulusevski's kind of given a sort of lukewarmish appraisal of the football that we're playing and our need to change and all that type of stuff. But I think Ange is probably. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? We might be waking up tomorrow to the picture of the cockerel on the side of the stadium and club announcement. We wish Ange Postecoglou all the best going forwards. Ryan Mason will assume coaching duties until further notice or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one, isn't it? It's a strange one. Oh, I just don't know. I don't know. I get it. I want to believe. There's the poster on Fox Mulder's wall. There's a reference to the kids. Actually, I think lots of kids, because the 90s is all big with you Gen Zs now, isn't it? 90s and all that. X-Files. I want to believe that this can be turned around, that we'll get Van der Ven, Romero back, that we'll maybe make a signing in January. We'll get to the end of the season, finish kind of strong, maybe win a cup. Probably not, but maybe win a cup. Sign a couple more players in summer, and then go into it next year, and suddenly it's clicked. And suddenly all these kind of things I've said about Ange Postecoglou come back to bite me, if you like. People saying, see, you didn't keep the faith. But I'm sat there happy because Spurs are second or third in the table at this time of the year now. And we look like we're actually going to mount a title challenge next year. I really, truly want to believe that's where this is headed. I just don't really see it at the moment. There isn't much to be excited about right now, because I know we have injuries. I know that, but I just games like today, like Wolves, I'm just like, just feels like we're going through the motions, playing the same formation again, the same sort of football. Try and get it down the wings, try and get it into the box or into the centre, and see see if somebody can just get on the end of it. And yeah, that works sometimes, and a lot of the time it just doesn't. We're just running down kind of blind alleys and nothing's really coming of it. And it just, I don't know, just feels like a lot of the time a half decent opposition knows what to expect from Tottenham. And I don't know. I don't know. Should I do the players? Yeah, let's do the players. Oh, actually, no. I'm not going to do it. One thing I did say, one thing I've said before during the game was that Kulusevski's performance thus far today, this was kind of at halftime, Kulusevski's performance thus far today is a prime example of why it absolutely has to be prioritised over Maddison. He just does not stop running and fighting for every ball. He's a warrior. He never hides. Get him on a long contract and build the team around him. Talismanic. And I still agree with that. And a lot of people say it doesn't need to be either Maddison or Kulusevski. But I think it sort of does. I think because invariably, Kulusevski just gets stuck out on the right. And it is like sticking a Michelin star chef in to do a job at Burger King. Like, by that, I mean, they can do it. He can do it. But I don't think it's using Kulusevski to the best of his ability when you play him out on the wing. I think we've and people are revising history now because we had that game against Manchester City. Oh, Kulusevski's just as good on the. We know he's not. Like when we started playing him through the centre, and basically everybody said when we started playing Kulusevski through the centre at the start of this season, why hasn't Ange done this sooner? He's so good. He influences so much more of the game when he's playing centrally. His tenacity, his physicality, his frame, he gets in the mix. He's so creative through the middle. He's so much more tenacious than Maddison. And now suddenly everyone's so happy to just be like, stick him out on the wing. Stick him out on the wing so James Maddison can play there and more often than not underwhelm and not grab a game by the horns and like control it in the way that a player arguably of James Maddison's ability should be able to. But he just doesn't. He just doesn't. And that's something Leicester fans always said of him before we signed him. Always was. And it's not a confirmation. I've seen enough of Maddison to know that, like, I think he's a good player. But put it this way: if we got offered all right money for Maddison from whoever, I'd take it in a heartbeat and go again. Get in a Morgan Gibbs-White or somebody like that. Somebody that I think is better suited to this system. I know Maddison's a creative player. I know he is one of the few creative outlets that we have. But at the same time, I don't think he has that tenacity for this Ange Postecoglou system. I don't think he does. I know it's an outdated kind of thing to say, but I do think he's a luxury player. I do think he is. And to me, Kulusevski, just start him centrally. Just start him centrally. Build the team around him. Give him a long contract. Build the team around him. He's just so good. He's so good. Let's do the players. So Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. We started with Fraser Forster in goal. Fraser Forster in goal for Spurs today. It was all right, wasn't he? It was all right. I think he's kind of, giving his head a bit of a wobble after his wobbles the past few days. Could he have done better with the second goal? Probably harsh to think he could have done. Could he have done better with the first goal? Probably harsh again. Two really good finishes from Wolves. And I think for the most part, Forster was pretty solid, did his job well, and just, yeah. Look, I'll happily dig out, not happily, but you know what I mean? What I'm saying is I'm unafraid to dig out Fraser Forster when I think it's warranted, and he was fine today. I've got to say, when he did go down injured, I can't lie, I was kind of, and maybe better the devil, I get that, but I was kind of like, go on, yes, go on, hope he is. I just, let's give Brendan Austin a go. Let's see what he can do. Yeah, I know that might be stupid. I know, but I'm just saying that's just how I felt in that moment. I was just like, yeah, if he's injured, let's give. I kind of want to see Brendan Austin. I want to see why, why he's why he's nowhere near the team. But still, Forster was good today. Destiny Doggy, I thought was good today, for the most part. Looks tired, doesn't he? But yeah, I mean, he's injured now. Hammy, maybe. Who knows? Don't know just yet. But it kind of looked bad, didn't it? I feel like he'll be out for a while. So that's annoying. Archie Gray, I mean, he's just class, isn't he? Um, Playing totally out of position. He's so baby faced, and I think that's so disarming for the opposition because I think they can. I think some of them think I can get the better of this kid, take the piss out of him. He's hard. Like he's quite a nasty little bastard. Um, was it Cunha he took out and he left one on him as well? I was surprised. I think it was Gray. I think it was Gray, but it was one of those tackles where it's like that's smart because you've left one on their best. I mean, Cunha was class until he went off. Class player. I don't think it's just hype with him. Brilliant, brilliant player. It's the reason why he's been linked with Arsenal, United, I think even City as well. He looks like a wonderful bit of business at 25 mil or whatever it was that Wolves paid for him. Yeah, looks a brilliant, brilliant player. But Gray wiped him out and left one on him, and I think probably arguably injured him, right? So yeah, he's a nasty, hard little bastard, Gray, and he's doing a fine job as a centre back. And I'm just looking forward to seeing him playing his actual favourite position because if he's judging by how well he's doing in an unfavoured position, we got a hell of a player on our hands, don't we? And I see why the club spent as much money on him as they did, and why people who were more in the know about Archie Gray and how good he was were so excited when we signed him because he looks like a lovely wee player, does the boy. Roddy Dragusin, decent enough defensively, but as I've kind of moaned about him before, his ball playing from the back is borderline criminal at times. He doesn't stop to think. He just kind of knocks the ball out to anywhere into space. It's just like just take a second when you've got the ball at your feet and just look for a man. Look for one of your own players. Don't just knock it out from the back. What are you doing? Like he's just got such a lack of composure when he's on the ball. It's really frustrating because it plays us into trouble quite a lot of the time. But I guess we should probably count our blessings that he was playing and Yves Bissouma wasn't playing as a centre back. Although it would have maybe been quite interesting to see how that panned out. Pedro Porro, I think probably what you could slice down the middle of how I would criticise Pedro Porro and how I could pay him a compliment today is that I don't really recall much about his game today. As in, nothing really stands out that he did particularly wrong, but nothing really stands out that he did particularly right. And that's how I'd give it to him, right? 5 out of 10. Fine. Decent. Rodrigo Bentancur, good goal. Really sort of got stuck in for that header, didn't he? Probably need a bit more of that energy at times, but as is often kind of typical of him post injury, Bentancur, he sort of faded as the game went on. I think he was quite. I mean, it would have been a soft red, but it was still probably a bit of an. His yellow card was borderline orange for me. I mean, it was a meaty challenge, a meaty challenge. And on another day, you could see a referee giving that. But yeah, he's quite scrappy, isn't he? I think he's obviously keen to make a point, but I don't think he's quite fully up to speed with it yet. And I don't know. I'm just sort of. I don't know whether it's because of the off-pitch stuff or just because of how he is on pitch. Maybe a bit of all of it. He's just sort of one of those faces I just kind of want to move on from a little bit, but whatever. Beggars can't be choosers right now. Yves Bissouma, decent enough performance. I thought in the first half, started to fade, got taken off, obviously. So there's obviously a sentiment shared by the gaffer. Son Heung-min, who look, I mean, I don't think it's particularly. I saw somebody say, "Oh, everybody's woke now because they say Son Heung-min instead of Heung-min Son." It's just how you say his name. Like, It was really irritating me. My commentator today kept saying Heung-min Son. It's like Son Heung-min. It's easy. It's really easy. Like he's been playing. He's been playing it for nearly a decade now. Right? Come on. I thought he was. I thought he was okay. I thought he was kind of a bit of a nuisance at first. Even flying in the face of my quirky little anecdote from earlier, he does look a bit tired, doesn't he? I sort of see it posited that he isn't utilised effectively by Ange. Yeah, maybe, but I couldn't really tell you how he should be using him and what he's doing wrong with him at the moment. So I don't know. But Sonny, isn't he? You know, what do you want to do? Like, bun him off and stick James Maddison out on the left? Or play Kulusevski out of position even further and put him on the left? Like, not for me. Not for me. Shame he missed that penalty, though. It was bad penalty for Sonny as well. Sonny's generally very good. Generally very good as a penalty taker. It was quite shocking to see him miss it. It's doing that. Do you know what it is? It's those stuttered run-ups that you see so many players do now. I can't stand them. Just do a proper Brexit penalty. Just step up and twat it into the goal. It's always the best way to. It's always the best way. It's always the best. Always the best. This stopping and starting and stuff. I mean, it shouldn't be allowed for a start. Like if the way goalkeepers are so forced onto their line, the way their conduct is scrutinised on penalties to like such a degree, players shouldn't be able to do all that stopping, starting and stuff. They shouldn't be able to. But from a perspective as a fan watching it, just don't do it. It never seems to work. It's so irritating. Just Brexit ball it into the back of the net. Dejan Kulusevski, I thought very, very good performance. Beating heart of the team, doesn't stop. An absolute warrior, warhorse. Just, give him all the money. Keep him here as long as we can. Brennan Johnson, nice finish. Largely ineffective, to be honest. But, a fine system player, as is obviously evident from the amount of goals and assists that he has for Tottenham Hotspur this season. And I have nothing further really to say about Brennan Johnson. Dominic Solanke, no goal today, but played very well, I thought. Always gives defenders a torrid time. Doesn't stop running, much like Kulusevski. No complaints from me about him. I mean, the cyclone players, I'd probably like to see him be slightly more ruthless. There was one opportunity, maybe about 65 minutes or so, when he got a lot of space in front of him. He was running into space. He's got mad pace as well. Running into space. He had a good angle to come in on goal. And it's just in those moments, those little moments sometimes where he doesn't quite have that killer instinct, like a Salah or somebody like. And I know I'm comparing him to literally one of the greatest Premier League players of all time. I get it, but I'm just saying. That kind of moment when they cut inside, he just like it if he could just, when he gets that space inside the box, he gets that sight of goal, just crack it. Just have that poacher's instinct and just crack it. But sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he just dwells. And I'm literally talking like half a second too much sometimes. And I think if he could just sometimes be a bit more instinctive, just kind of put his foot through it every now and again when he's got that bit of space, he scores so many more goals because he makes himself such good opportunities constantly, gets himself into good positions constantly, works so hard to get into those positions. And just sometimes it's just, like I say, it's just that split second. He just sometimes let himself down a bit. Sergio Reguilon, funnily enough, given that he hasn't played for so long and just seems to be whatever, I don't know. Like I say, that ghost around Tottenham Hotspur. I thought he played quite well. I know I had my little gripe about him sort of knocking the ball backwards, but I thought he played pretty well. Added some thrust down that left-hand side. Obviously, was still working his socks off, trying his best, perhaps trying to seize an opportunity now that he sees that there's a pathway there for him to play a bit more, to be a bit more involved in the team. You crack on, lads. He's got ability. I don't think anybody would ever say that he doesn't have ability. So let's see. James Maddison. I feel like I'm always sort of having a go at him. What did he do when he came on? What did he do really that was particularly noteworthy? What did a player of his ability actually bring to the occasion when he came on? Tottenham kind of trying to shore up their leads, maybe get a bit of daylight between us and Wolves, and they ended up scoring. I'm not blaming him for that, but don't know. It's just kind of what it is with James Maddison. I'm just, is what it is. Timo Werner, largely Timo Werner doing Timo Werner things, wasn't it? I think space did open up for him quite a few times down that left-hand side, but didn't really do an awful lot with it. There you go. Pape Matar, I thought was decent when he came on. Nearly got one right at the end. I'd rather see him play than Bentancur, to be honest, but whatever, rotate them. As I was saying, use all the players at our disposal as best we can. Look, I don't think I need to go on about much more, do I, today? Spurs are they are where they are. There's more games coming up, thick and fast. Disappointing to draw at home, especially to Wolves, but whatever. They're on the up. We're on the down, seemingly. At least we got a draw. We didn't lose. So, there we go. Be an interesting few weeks ahead as we start to get players back. But thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Please leave a rating. Please leave a review. If you like listening to me go on about stuff, listen to me go on about stuff more at patreon.com/RTRpod. Did a pre-match pod today that was free. If you sign up for Patreon, you don't have to become a paid member. You can be a free member. And I will toss the occasional morsel to you that you can listen to for free. But also, if you want to support the show even more, please, get a monthly membership or whatever, and you can have access to everything. So, do that or don't. And if you don't, like and subscribe and all that stuff. Come on, you Spurs. Much love. Bye-bye.